ça.
Cortez captures Mexico City. Moments in history. Hernando Cortez left Cuba in 1519 to conquer Mexico. Reaching the mainland, his boats became worm-eaten and sank. Some say he burned them purposely. At any rate, with his escape cut off, it was a question of win or perish. Finding his way to the capital, he captured Montezuma, butchered the natives, and helped himself to a vast wealth of gold and silver. His brilliant campaigns made many at home jealous, and he was forced to return to Spain. He made another voyage, and on returning from it, was received coldly by the king. Perhaps there was truth to the bitter taunts that he had given his sovereign more province than his ancestors had, bequeathed him cities. Welcome to Damn Weird, and in this, I'm going to attempt to organize my collective thoughts on various unusual events and things and people that have occurred, and things I've studied, just a way to organize them here onto YouTube for me. Now we're going to start with some of the easier things, simply because we need kind of a foundation for our studies, for something to look at. These are things that maybe shouldn't exist, but do. Solenodon. This is a being covered because this creature exists, that it is filled with unique abilities. So if this is a creature that does exist, some of the other cryptids we'll be covering later seem a little less bizarre. It was first discovered in 1861 by Wilhelm Peters. Only 32 had been caught. They were believed extinct till 1999, and later in 2003 when they were spotted. But this should not surprise anyone. These small creatures survived dinosaurs and the meteorite that killed them off. They would survive. The Solenodon looks much like an oversized shrew. It weighs about 1.3 pounds. Head to body length is about 11 to 13 inches. It has brownish red fur on most of its body. With a paler underside, the tail, legs, snout, and ear tips are hairless. Forelegs are noticeably more developed than the hind legs, but all have strong claws useful for digging. The head is very big in relation to its body. With the long nose and tiny eyes and ears, the second lower incisors has a narrow groove. Solenodons derive from the Greek for grooved tooth, through which flows a venomous saliva secreted by a submaxillary gland, making the Solenodon one of only a handful of venomous mammals. That's right, basically a mouse with venom. To go on though, both sexes are similar. They may have 2 litters of 1 to 3 young per year. Usually only 2 of the offspring survive because the female only has 2 teats, which happen to be found near her buttocks. The young are weaned after 75 days, but may sometimes remain with the parents while subsequent litters are born and raised, so up to 8 animals may share the same burrows. Solenodons may fight each other on first meeting, but eventually they establish a dominance relationship and live together in captivity in relative harmony. The Solenodon has glands in the armpits and in the groin, which are said to give off a goat-like smell. I guess if you're a mouse, a goat is a good disguise. It really defends itself against one of its own kind and is apparently not immune to its own venom, since animals have been seen to die after fighting and sustaining minor wounds. It may also attack other animals savagely. A captive Solenodon was reported to have attacked a young chicken and torn it to pieces with its strong claws before eating it. In the moments of excitement, it may grunt like a pig or give bird-like cries, but when pursued, it stays motionless and hides its head, making it easy to capture. Okay, now, to remind you, this is 1 foot long and less than 1.5 pounds of mouse killing your chicken. Granted, it's a big mouse. It's like the size of a toy poodle, but, with short legs. The Solenodon was unknown to science for so long because it's nocturnal, a consequence of which its highly developed sense of hearing and smell and touch. Just think though how many cryptids are reported as being nocturnal and we can't find. Also, they are not very numerous, so their influence on an ecosystem is practically nothing. During daylight hours, they stay in their burrows, trees, hollowed out logs, or caves, remaining hidden from view. When they do come out, they run on their toes with a stiff, ungainly waddle, following an erratic, almost zigzag course. Local people claim Solenodons never run in a straight line. When a Solenodon is alarmed and tries to move faster, it's very likely to trip. The Solenodons eat a wide variety of animals including arthropods, worms, snails, and small reptiles. They may also feed on roots, fruits, and foliage. Although one study found they refused all forms of vegetation. They probe the earth with their snouts and dig or rip open rotting logs with their claws. Solenodons in captivity have been seen to bathe often and to drink only while they're bathing. Now, in the matters of conservation, the Solenodon was identified as one of the top 10 focal species in 2007 by the EDGE Species Project, a collaborative conservation project funded by the Darwin Initiative. Was started in 2009 and is researching the species to conserve it. The species is fully protected by law. However, national parks in both Haiti and the Dominican Republic are threatened by deforestation and encroachment for farming and charcoal production. The U.S. Agency for International Development and the Nature Conservation are working with local, non-governmental organizations to improve protection and implementing management plans for these parks. A recovery plan for the isolated Haitian population, published in 1992, advocated comprehensive surveys, improved management of the Picmaquea National Park, educational campaigns, control of exotic mammals, and an excellent breeding program. 2 conservational research and education programs funded by the Darwin Initiative have recently been established, focusing on Solenodons in both countries, building evidence and capacity to conserve Hispaniola's endemic land mammals, starting 2009, and building a future for Haiti's unique vertebrates, starting in 2010. These collaborative projects present a partnership between the EDGE program, the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust, BirdLife International, and Sociedades Ornitológica de la Hispaniola. I'm sure I got that one wrong. The Dominican Republic National Zoo, Society Audubon Haiti, and in-country project partners. That's right, this is basically a 1.3, 1 foot long mouse with venom. Glands in the armpits and in the groin, which are said to give off goat-like smell. It has 2 teats which are found near its buttocks. But sleep well, it's just a mouse. Thank you for listening. upon a time, a long, long time ago. These angelfish were important to both Britt and me. They were a matched pair. They would play for hours, and she said they were playing as each other's reflection. When the one died, it broke her. She finally stopped crying and came to me with an idea. She wanted me to get the people that fixed me and have them fix her angelfish. You would do anything to be your little girl's hero, so I called and they loved the idea, the whole new field to help regain the millions they lost originally. At first I was worried of them being put together again, but Britt said that they both understood it was an accident, a little memory static fabric and electro nerve pulse implant. She said it was a miracle. She then started calling the new fish Daddy because it was part robot, and she called the other one the normal one. Little girl, you know, Daddy's little girl. She had to explain it to me. I was so proud I told everyone. She was right. Then one day out of nowhere, her grandfather, my father-in-law, goes crazy. Actually, was. It was just that no one knew. He kills my wife, his daughter, and then goes after Britt, my little girl. He always wanted to be her hero, but I froze as he held her in front of him as a shield. At least no shot except for through her. Training says take the shot. He knew what I was, and he held her arm around his neck as he backed away. I could not shoot my dear Britt with training said to. But it didn't matter. Programming took over. I watched in terror as I fired into her arm and beyond.
Turn on the lights, you retard. We don't all have freaky deaky super eyes. We normal people embrace the light.
I wish we were fish. Again, I talked to the powers above. You know, the government. Another brilliant idea. She got the first truly cybernetic arm. They started a revolution in limb replacement, but top-of-the-line prototypes quickly became obsolete. She is not a happy camper.
Honestly, Dad, I wish you could at least try to behave as a human and not the hellspawn robot of Armageddon you are. As I have already told you, Dad, if you cannot control your accessories, then you will have to leave them outside. I think the sermon about your type and the days of Armageddon are correct. Dark forces control you. And if you are done eating, I would like to bless this meal unless that offends you in some way.
Please, go on. I just did not know you were here. Every generation wonders, with as bad as we were, how would the next generation rebel? Religion was how my parents, as most, had lost all faith after decades of child rape cases and life being found on other planets besides us. We just gave up the ability to have blind faith in a fantasy.
We thank you for this food we are about to eat. For as all you create, it is sacred. And dear Lord, forgive us the sins of our fathers. For it is your forgiveness we seek. Amen. You can eat now, but be warned, the food is blessed. I thought you would be happy if I left out the part about how all the creations of men who are without the Lord are simply creating the work of the dark ones.
So, well, how you doing today, if that's not prying into your life?
Look at this, Dad. I taught it a new trick. Every time you ask me how I'm doing, my arm expresses it for me. Neat, huh? You may have failed to find a way to help me fix this thing, but luckily my parish has somebody good with mechanics. You're staring again. Stop it.
I was listening to you.
Yeah, whatever.
And looking at the fish. Do you remember them? You wanted them on this table. I can move them if you'd like. Whatever you want.
You ever think that the Robot 1 had wished it had died, instead of becoming a stuffed carcass? Ah, Dad! Your S&M robot wants to talk to you. Do so and dismiss it. Now I guess we all know why I can't have any guests over. It wouldn't go over well at the parent-teacher nights. Actually, Miss Britt, I was going to ask you on the quality of your meal, or if you would require more. But I would also like to inform you that your father has never chosen to use me in such a manner as you are referring. So I think that is slander. I would like to continue, though, and comment on your question. You asked me as I was coming out here. I think the enchanted fish may be experiencing life in a whole new way. That the common simple mind of a fish never could. I see. Lunch is fine. As I'm sure you were programmed to do. Stop fishing for compliments. Oh, and I noticed you changed your voice. Why did it sound too robotic for you? No. I was finding that it may have been intimidating you. So I decided to alter it to a softer form. It is based on recordings of your mother's voice. Is it okay? I'm sure my father won't mind, but I have personally lost my appetite.
Maybe they could genetically change me into a fish.
Let me light hand.
I gotta fix some stuff. Cam Studio.
Yo, what's up, people?
How's it going?
So far, so good, Sword.
Who's this?
This is Colin.
Colin?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. I've been trying to get on the show for a while. Phone-wise.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Him on the phone too. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, nice to have everybody.
Hey, yeah.
Put it back on.
That's a truly scary one.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, right on. Good to hear you. Yeah, pretty much.
Right on.
Okay, hey. You seen the show before then?
Yeah, I've seen the show about 4 or 5 times.
Cool.
Never could get on the phone, though, because it's always busy. So you must be popular.
Yeah, we like to think it that way. Otherwise, I'll leave the phone up for a while so you feel popular.
Right on.
Okay, but we're getting our first stuff here. So, thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh,